Hello, my name is Romina Montenegro, and today I will be talking about my Capstone Project, which is on my experience with the largest immigrant youth-led network in the nation, and also known as United We Dream. So first we're going to start with the background section, and then we're going to move along to the situations that they currently face, as well as just my overall thoughts on the organization. And before we get started today, I'd like to do a simple trigger warning. We will be talking about some difficult topics, as well as some that many people have personally been experienced or have seen firsthand. So I believe that a trigger warning is the responsible thing to do for anything related to immigration. So with that, let's get started. So the background, who they are. United We Dream is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. They're also known as the largest immigrant youth-led network in the nation. So their overall mission is to bring activism through the intersectionality of all of the issues that affect youth and specifically immigrant youth, undocumented immigrant youth. So the organization's primary goal was to pass legislation such as DACA, which is also the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, very well known. The 2012 program that was put into effect through executive order by the then President Barack Obama. So also United We Dream focuses on much larger immigrant problems that legislation is pretty much in topic with. So one of them is freeing immigrants who are in detention centers. Some more are finding pathway to citizenship for every single undocumented immigrant in the United States, as well as topics of climate change, reproductive rights, gender pay gap, as well as anything else related to pretty progressive stances overall. Another thing is that one of their biggest topics of discussion is U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE or CBP, and pretty much the violations against human rights that occur inside detention centers owned by ICE and CBP. These are common in immigrant heavily populated areas like Florida, California, Texas, Louisiana. They're very commonly found, and United We Dream is one of the major organizations that campaigns against the violations of undocumented immigrants or people inside of these centers. That's where one of the biggest campaigns that many people and many progressive and liberal people take a stance on is abolishing ICE. That is where that comes from. That's the stem of it. There are many well-known organizations that are also leading campaigns against the cruelties inside ICE detention centers, along with United We Dream. One of the more commonly known ones is the American Civil Liberties Union, also known as the ACLU, where even on their website they talk about, the campaigns that are being led against these detention centers. And one common quote that can be seen in the ACLU website through very fast, quick searches is they can be quoted as saying that these facilities are exposing detainees to brutal and inhumane conditions of confinement at massive cost to American taxpayers. So I bring this up because it's not just about the inhumane conditions that are inside of these centers, which should be one of the bigger reasons why there are campaigns against this, but it's also very expensive to be continuing these cruel detention centers at a cost to American taxpayers. And we're talking billions and billions of dollars. There are very specific numbers that can be found, all throughout these immigrant websites. And, the math is really astonishing, because when ICE and CBP or Customs and Border Patrol, as well as Immigration and Customs Enforcement, talk about asking for more funding for the border wall or for their employees, the more money that goes towards these branches of government, the worse that the violations of human rights get. And so it's really difficult to understand or even fathom how more funding equals more inhumane conditions inside these centers. One of the biggest problems that has been seen this year specifically is on COVID-19, the coronavirus that has become a global destructive virus, where we've seen the repercussions as regular citizens, and behind bars, behind some of these centers, behind those walls, they're experiencing the worst of it, where they don't have access to adequately socially distance. They don't have access to personal protective equipment or PPE. And usually they are forced to reuse some of their masks or cleaning products, or they're usually not allowed to have alcohol or any disinfectants at all whatsoever because of the risks that come with them. Other than that, this seems to be one of the bigger problems that has really targeted these detention centers. Not only that, I believe that it's important to note that, again, it's a problem that is not just about immigrants. It really is about, human right violations. It's not right. It's not just, and it really has, I believe, not only taken a mental toll on the families of these people who are terrified of contracting COVID-19 in these detention centers, but we're also seeing that the death rate is actually going up. We're seeing very often some people that are dying from COVID-19 inside these detention centers. And it really is not about being a progressive person who wants undocumented people to be released. It's also not about, keeping immigrants or quote unquote illegal aliens inside of these centers. It really is about a life or death situation, just because we are seeing, again, the repercussions and how difficult they're being hit inside of these centers, because quite frankly, they haven't been prepared to handle such a big outbreak of the coronavirus, especially because of the lack of PPE, as previously mentioned. And this gives a perfectly way for ICE and CBP to be able to ask for more money without even providing what they adequately need. So we've arrived to the final section where I want to talk about the solutions and pretty much my endpoints and final thoughts on this organization. This organization is focusing on bringing forth change for all undocumented people in the United States. And we've seen that not only through the Dream and Promise Act campaigns, but we're also talking about temporary protection status that's been given to Central Americans as well as some Haitians that we've seen. But again, it also goes back to the DACA people who have been protected by DACA. We're seeing that this is expanded to the protection all undocumented people in the U.S., all about approximately 12 million people. We're thinking that solutions to this are simply to end the funding for programs like ICE and CBP's detention centers, but we're also seeing that we need more. And I say we because of, again, my previously mentioned internship in this organization. We're seeing that we want more policymakers to be able to create the change to protect these people. And it always goes back to it being a problem not of left or right, but about basic human rights. And with that said, I believe that that is all that I would like to talk about. If you have any questions, if you would even like to get involved with us, you can reach out to me and I will absolutely be able to help you out. I think overall, this has been one of the most interesting and life-changing projects that I've done throughout my entire college career. And I am so glad to have been able to have chosen United We Dream to as my focus of the Capstone Project, to be able to focus on and really study the reason why these campaigns work, and why human rights are essential rights that belong to even undocumented people that are rights to this country. Thank you.